introduce the speaker here, which is Susan Campbell, a gun collector. Gary is Western art, history, and culture. And Susan? Thank you.
One nice thing about a gathering this size is that we can be really informal. I've been looking forward to this day for a very long time. Sid and Rosalyn Wiener did an amazing thing. They decided to build a collection that reflected their interests and their passion. They went out and they did a period. They identified artists whose work they wanted to collect. They bought books whose work, the artist's work appeared in. They put it together and they housed it. I had the most amazing experience. Many of you family members have had it too. I went to the home in Hackensack, New Jersey to see the collection because we couldn't talk about bringing in a gift that we hadn't seen. We didn't know what it was. And I'd seen photographs that Sid sent and we saw lists. I had a pretty good generally, but when I got there, it was as though I had no sense of what it was because it was huge. Every square inch of the walls in their home was covered with this wonderful art. Their enthusiasm filled the rooms where we sat. Their books were everywhere. Sid has a career. Anytime you want to come to work, great curator. His cataloging impeccable. We've relied on his card catalog for cataloging the books and the art collection. His scholarship. We went on Ask website archive on artist biographies, and I'm going through looking at an artist, and I go, well, Sid donated this biography and put it on Ask Art. And so he's become a real curator and art historian. The collection is magnificent. One of the things that I think is wonderful about art of the American West, and American art in general, but more so art of the American West, is that it tells the American story. American art and art of the American West really reflect history and who we are as a people and as a community. And illustrative art is something that hasn't been valued as it should be for a very long time. But in the last 15 years or so, museums are catching on to the fact that through illustrators art, we're learning, if not what we were like in the past, what we thought we were like, how we viewed ourselves. And knowing how you think about yourself and what your values are help us today. It helps us teach children about community, history, and inform ourselves, and it really expands our horizons. Artists of the American West largely have worked as illustrators. Even people like Georgia O'Keeffe, who would never admit it, earned her living for quite a while as a commercial artist. And most illustrators who graduate, if you will, to fine art, credit their work as illustrators. They learn their craft, they learn how to meet deadlines, they learn how to satisfy their patrons, and they create something that has lasting value. And so without more ado, I just want to thank you very much. The highlights of the collection have been installed. We've had the opportunity to use it as an educational vehicle. We've had illustration students from Heron Art School over to look at the collection, to hear about how illustrators work, and to try their hand at doing the same thing. We have our wonderful Quest for the West, which is a sales show of contemporary artists, most of whom have worked as illustrators. And we're going to be incorporating the Wiener collection exhibit into our Quest show this coming September. And we're hoping that some of the artists who will be doing illustrations on site to show people, what does it take? Somebody gives you a phrase or a quote or a passage and says, I want you to come back with an image that tells this story. And what all illustrators who are worth anything know, it's really the picture that tells the story. So thank you both very much. We are grateful.
Thank you, Susan. I want to offer my thanks for your good work. Imagine getting a collection of this importance and magnitude to the museum when givers had not even visited. I think that's pretty remarkable. And to a great extent, according to Sid Rosalyn, and this is based on their faith in Susan and her good salesmanship, and being able to communicate a sense of how much it would be valued here and how no, we will take care of it. An interesting thing about a museum, someone offers something and you take it, and it's a great asset, you're assuming, which it certainly is, but it's also a great liability because we are promising to take care of this, not in our lifetimes, but in lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. And it is a big commitment, and we are committing it, and I know that Susan will be able to communicate seriously about that. So I appreciate that very much. You know, this museum is built on the foresight. First and foremost, it was Harrison Eiteljorg who put together about 2,500 works of art, both Western and Native American. And he spent a lifetime collecting this as well. In fact, probably close to 30 years, maybe 40 years, but a similar time frame. And I was asking Sid earlier, did you have the thought as you were collecting this that you were doing it for a museum, you were doing it to share with public? And he said no, that was really something that came along later. I think that was true for Harrison. He did it out of pure passion. He was absolutely in love with the West and the Western art. But later in his collecting life, he began also to think about what was going to happen to it, and became very obsessed, not with just the art, but the idea of sharing it. There were many places he could have placed the collection. He thought about Santa Fe, he thought about Denver and other cities out west. And in the end, he chose Indianapolis because this was his home. This is where he was born and raised in our community. He turned it over without any strings attached. He simply gave it to the community. The community responded by building a beautiful building for it. So it was greatly appreciated. A couple of years ago, we had a similar dinner, and we welcomed the collection to the museum, the Gunn collection of Western art. We talked about how it rounded out Harrison's collection. Mr. Gunn and his family had collected things that weren't exactly what Harrison. So when we put the two together, it became a much more complete story of the American West and a much more powerful collection. Well, tonight I think the same thing is happening. The collection that Sid and Rosalyn put together is not simply duplicating what the museum already had, but it's finishing a piece of this picture that we're painting in this museum. So it makes it a better story of the American West and a more complete collection. So for that, we are greatly in your debt. And I want you to know that this is all very collection. But half of our visitors, in fact, come from outside this metro area. Most of them from outside the state, so it will be enjoyed by people from all over the world. And it will make a profound difference in what we have here in Indianapolis. The last thing I want to do is thank you for sharing, or having faith in us, because we are committed to caring for it, and we will treat it with the utmost care and professional responsibility. Somebody asked Lay, and I pointed out that the works on paper, we will rotate it. They can't be on this way permanent forever because they will disappear if we try to do that over time. And we're collecting or caring for them in perpetuity. So thank you for your trust and faith in us. I hope everyone here has enjoyed their time in Indianapolis. I want to extend an invitation to those of you who are flying out tonight. It's so sad that you're leaving right away, to come back when you want to see the collection again. We'd like to show you the rest of our city in the arts here. And I think you're among people who love this art, and some of them would probably even open their homes to you and show you their own personal collections. The group that's here tonight is kind of in your camp. This group is profoundly interested in Western art. You know, it's sort of a set of concentric circles. Our community has embraced Western art because of the Eiteljorg Museum. Our patrons and our members are deeply in love with it. But there's a core group of about 20 households that are really the heart and soul of Western art collecting in Indianapolis, and most of them are here tonight. So you are both among your best friends tonight. And I hope everybody's had a chance to meet the Wieners. They're extraordinary people and have been so gracious, and we just appreciate all the kind words you've had for us. So with that, is there anything else you would like to say? I don't want to take away anything. If there's anyone else who would like to offer a comment, either from the Western Art Society or from the family or friends, you're more than welcome to say something, aren't you?
This isn't fair, but I did want to thank Rosalyn for another reason. We got the family together, which is always a pleasure. I also want to thank the museum for the lovely dinner. It was spectacular, just wonderful. You have great taste. We did notice as soon as we got to Indianapolis, since we're Midwesterners, excuse me, we got that Midwestern friendliness from everyone, and we have a lovely group of people here at the museum, and we really compliment you all on that. So thank you for a wonderful evening. Also to Carol and Susan, the exhibit, I was really impressed. It's beautiful. And thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Invite everyone to stay, enjoy coffee and conversation. The room is ours for a while. Thank you again for coming, especially the conference. That's great. Thank you.
Thank you. Is this like credits or something? Turn it on.
I promise I won't keep you very long for lunch, for dinner. I just wanted to say a few words and welcome here tonight. Rosa, so many of the folks from the museum are here, some from the board, some who work here, and so forth. So we thank you. Secondly, I want to thank my family for being here. They come from all over the country. California, Nevada, Denver, Kansas City, Chicago, and of course New Jersey and New York. So I want to thank them. I want to say a particular hello to my two grandchildren who came out here. And a special thank you also to Douglas Oliver, our son-in-law, who arranged a private plane to fly out here with the folks from the New Jersey, New York area. And I just want to take a minute to thank a few folks from the museum who have been so wonderful. First of all, just a quick word. Where's Carol? Carol Street. Thank you, Carol. I know you've handled things for us, and we appreciate it very much. To James Nottinger, your chief curator, I want to thank him for sticking with us and getting things rolling. Let's see, I don't want to forget anybody, but to your CEO, John Van Hansdale, thank you very much. You've been so wonderful to us. Rosa and I are very happy that we had a chance to meet you. Thank you. Well, let me get to Susan. Dr. Susan Campbell. Right from the very beginning, and I'm talking about a year and a half ago, she negotiated with us, and the emails went flying back and forth. There must have been 100 of them, plus the phone calls. And she really walked us through the whole procedure of making this contribution. She is a talented and wonderful woman, and I can't say enough about her, and thank you very much.
Well, there's so much to say and so much to celebrate, but I think first we should just enjoy dinner and we'll get